Pod. He had hoops aficionado and cartographer Kurt Goldsberry on, who shared this tidbit about KD. Take a listen. Cartographer.
Everybody loves Kevin Durant, even though he's 36, soon to be 37. But the Phoenix Suns, my understanding is, Zach Lowe, is they're asking for a little too much. I had one Eastern Conference executive say the name is better than the game.
Name is better than the game. Brew, your reaction.
Look, Kevin Durant is, we all know, all-time great, top 20-ish type player of all time. Legend. But at this point, at soon to be 37 years old, don't be fooled by the numbers. He is not impacting games anywhere remotely like he used to. For Kevin Durant not to make the play-in with Devin Booker, and some of this is on Booker too, but smack dab in the middle of his prime, averaging 26 and 7. Bradley Beal plays 53 games, gives you 17 points a night. Decent role players. Tyus Jones was effective in Memphis. You know, Royce O'Neal has been effective in places. Like, obviously the roster construction is kind of bad, but still, you couldn't even get your team into the play-in. And then 2 years ago, they got swept unceremoniously by a young, immature Minnesota team. So the notion that Kevin Durant is what he was years ago and going to come in there and lead your team to a championship is just not the case. And so, look, he's still a great bucket, but the numbers are somewhat empty calories at this point.
But do you think they would be empty calories in a different situation?
He's not, if he's your number one guy,
but he's none of
then
these
no,
teams.
I think they're not going to be, you know.
But so I don't
think
any of these teams that are trying to trade for him want him to be the number one guy. Houston, it's weird.
But he used to be a clear number one. So I'm just saying there's, like, look, his main bread and butter is the mid-range. If your bread and butter is the mid-range in today's NBA, you can get buckets. Yeah. Period. You can get buckets. And so I'm not saying he's 37. He's not supposed to be a super duper star anymore. Okay? LeBron's an outlier. But he's still a very good player. He's still a legit star. In the right situation, I'd love to have him. I've been saying Minnesota. I'm just saying the Suns are going to be surprised because they're not going to get this huge haul because everybody's after Kevin Durant.
So that last part I agree with you on, and we might actually agree in spirit at least. I am going to put up his numbers as a Sun. Just
they're the same as his numbers throughout his career.
And I agree. So his numbers as a Sun, the one that jumped out to me is like, man, 43% from three is pretty nuts. And
he needs to be taking
probably should take a few more. And I obviously, he is not prime Kevin Durant. It's obvious to everyone. And by the way, he wasn't when Phoenix traded for him. Phoenix traded away a haul.
We thought he was, though. Everybody kind of thought he was.
I think at the time, I was maybe a little more down on where KD was than the rest of the world. And right now, I feel like I'm a little higher on where KD is because I do feel like there is a similar thing happening in the Kevin Durant discussion that I've seen happen to LeBron, which is we are measuring him against who he used to be.
That's right.
Rather than against the other players in the league right now. And so you said he's top 20-ish all time. Agreed. He's also firmly in the top 20 right now. Like for the back end of it.
Yes.
But he is. So the point that I'm making is Kevin Durant good enough to be the second best player on an awesome team? And my answer to that is yes. Was that the case in Phoenix? No. Was that a group failing from ownership, coaching, Durant, Booker, everything? Yes. But and so the teams that are talking about trading for him, Anthony Edwards supposed to be the best player on that team, right? We both think Miami doesn't make sense because he would be the best player there, and then where are you going? Houston's weird because he would be their go-to offensive player, but Şengün is supposed to be the hub of everything there. San Antonio, the idea is Wemby is going to continue on the trajectory. New York, it's Jalen Brunson. And in all those spots, Kevin Durant, who while he only, he would have been All-NBA-ish had he been eligible this year. I don't know if you would have voted for him, but he certainly would have been in that contention for third team at least. That's a super valuable player.
Yeah.
And so, that's the point.
But you also look at the age. You look at these young teams, Houston, San Antonio. I mean, their timeline's completely different.
Yeah.
And I get it. Maybe you can get him now and win it quickly. But that's somewhat of a risk, especially when Giannis might be out there and available, and the injury history. One time in the last 5 years played 65 or more games. So I still, look, he's still a very good player and a star, legit star. We kind of debated a little bit on club superstar. I get it, he's a legend, so he can be in club superstar. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that can get buckets on losing teams. I'm just not enamored with, you got 26 on a team that was 10 games below 500.
But can I ask you a question? Because I agree, Devin Booker. Look at the Warriors pre-Jimmy. Booker's better than any of Steph's teammates. But I would argue the Warriors without Steph, again, pre-Jimmy, and the Suns without Durant, if you look at those rosters as a whole, I don't know that one is markedly better than the other. The Warriors have the far better coach situation and kind of a more cohesive, put-together with thought roster. The Suns have a superstar or, a star player in Booker and then a bunch of pieces. The Warriors were 24-25 before they traded for Jimmy. I don't think, and again, I think Steph's a greater all-time player than Durant and currently a better player than Durant. But nobody was like, man, Steph Curry doesn't know how to contribute to winning anymore.
No, but we were saying he wasn't the same.
Right.
And again, that's one game below 500, not 10 games below 500.
But the Suns, I think, at the 50-game mark were right around, I think, a similar spot. They seem to give up on the season. You know what I mean? The Suns, once Durant, they were thinking about trading him and they didn't.
I'm surprised you're putting so much of it on Durant. It was a team without any real...
Some of it's on Booker, too. I'm just saying, I am comparing him to Kevin Durant at his height because the numbers look the same. I was saying similar things about LeBron a few years ago.
Yes.
Everybody was like, his numbers are the same. But LeBron used to totally control a game and totally control impact winning. I control the tempo, pace, everything. And he couldn't do that in LA, and even though the numbers look the same. And so we have to look at that as well. And Kevin Durant at this point, he's going to score. That's it. He's not going to get you a bunch of rebounds for a guy that's essentially a 7-footer. 6 a game, okay. Sure. He's not going to play make greatly. He's a decent defender at this point. I mean, that's the thing. All he's going to do, and that's important. So the second, third guy, whatever, get you some buckets. I need that, okay.
I guess the point that I'm making is, and I think we might agree, we just did a whole, deserved tribute to Jalen Williams. Next year in the NBA, for next year and next year alone, I think Jalen Williams and Kevin Durant are within 3 player rankings of each other.
No way. Jalen Williams is better than Kevin Durant right now.
That's what I said. Within 3,
the defense isn't even comparable.
I agree with that.
When you list out everybody,
I'm saying, my point is, if you actually did it pen to paper, I think you would have Jalen Williams at 15 and Durant at 19. Let me take him out.
Yeah, but there can be gaps between bigger gaps between 12 and 13.
Agreed. But do you think he's better than Pascal Siakam right now for next year? I do.
Yes.
I think obviously.
Yeah.
And we're all talking, and we're like, man, Pascal Siakam, pretty good second option.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm saying I just think
Siakam scores in different ways.
I would trade Siakam right now.
Durant's going to hit mid-range jumpers and threes.
Siakam for Durant right now.
For the
Pacers. Oh my, Pacers got a chance.
I would feel like if they did it during the series, they might.
But we also got to take into consideration the age.
Right.
And the injury.
I agree with all that.
That's the thing.
It's not in all
2 years.
I'm talking about for next season. I think he's.
What makes a carnival vacation fun? A little bit of everything for everyone. Like these.